Kyrie Irving 1, net 0. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. If you haven't heard, Kyrie Irving is on his way back to the Nets. He is on his way to suiting up and playing for the Nets again. What changed? It doesn't appear that he's gotten vaccinated. If he had made that choice of his own free will, like I said, whatever somebody chooses for themselves is what is a good choice for them. If he had made that choice because he had been pressured into it, that's when I would have an issue with it. But at present, it doesn't appear that he has gotten vaccinated. It appears he is standing strong on that. It's the Nets who've blinked. Now, it appears that the Nets will be allowing him to suit up and play in away games. Some people may be confused and be like, wait a minute, did they change the rules? And let me clear something up for you. This decision by the Nets was not a reaction to NBA rules or New York City mandates. This was their choice of their own free will. You see, New York City had instituted rules that saying nobody that was unvaccinated could be in these arenas. The NBA had no mandate for players to be vaccinated. The Nets are the ones that decided, of their own reasons, that they were not going to let Kyrie suit up and play for away games, even though the only rules that existed prohibiting him from playing related to games inside New York. So that would have applied to Brooklyn games and any games they played against the Knicks at the Garden. There was no reason, except their own, to stop him from playing in away games. Why did the Nets do that? I have a personal theory. My theory is they wanted to strong arm Kyrie. They wanted to show their strength and say, hey, you're going to get this. You're going to get this vaccine because we want you to get it and we want you to be back on the team. We want to show our power, our dominion over you. So we're going to tell you it's all or nothing. And Kyrie said, okay, it's nothing. And now the Nets look like fools because they made a decision they didn't have to. It wasn't about safety. And you may say, no, it was about safety because he wasn't vaccinated and he was endangering the people on the team. Now that's where I have to step in and say, let me tell you what the NBA's rules were. You see, the NBA did not and does not have a vaccination mandate in place. They do, however, say that if a person is unvaccinated, if a player is unvaccinated, they have to undergo strict protocols with regards to testing to make sure they are not infected so as to endanger the rest of the team. In other words, the NBA has a stricter policy in place, a more sensible policy in place than New York City's policy regarding not even being fully vaccinated. Remember, New York's key to New York City only required people to have one shot. It is virtue signaling at its finest. It had and has nothing to do with safety. I repeat, New York City's key to New York does not require people to be fully vaccinated. It only required people to have one vaccine shot. It was not about public safety. The NBA's policy actually addressed testing and making sure people were not infected so as to endanger other people from also becoming infected. Despite the NBA's policy, the Nets chose to go above and beyond and do some extra stuff. But why? Why have they decided to now blink and allow Kyrie to play? About that, apparently, a bunch of Nets players and a bunch of players all over the league, and apparently even in the NFL, are now being isolated because of potential COVID infections. Yes, the Nets, the team that has been going above and beyond the rules to not allow any unvaccinated player on their team, is now facing a potential outbreak of COVID-19. Can you say ironic? In fact, it's beyond just the NBA and the NFL. New York State, where there are several mandates in place from New York City having vaccine mandates to New York State implementing vaccine mandates in certain fields. There is an interesting thing going on where New York State now has its highest number of cases, its highest numbers of new cases ever. That's right. New York State now has its highest daily number of cases ever. I'm going to say that one more time. New York State now has its highest numbers of COVID cases ever. Ever. It's almost as if Kyrie was right. As always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. But if you disagree and you think, no, Kyrie should still get vaccinated because reasons, go ahead and hit the thumbs down and be sure to comment if you have any reasons. I'll see you next time.